So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome our first speaker here. Before we welcome our first speaker, I would like to thank the board of DoTheDream Youth Development Initiative from the chairman, Mr. Tony Aromire. Thank you for supporting this cause. To Mrs. Tubosun Afolayan, Mrs. Tunuke Bosun Okusaga, Mrs. Badejoko Papamise, Mr. Doyin Jiwola, Mrs. Titilayo Olumadewa, Mr. Adebusuyi Oshumadewa, Mr. Kayode Oshumadewa, for all they have been doing for this organization. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you. Without your inputs today, this program won't hold. I celebrate you and we love you. Please can we give them a round of applause? I shall welcome Mr. Doyin Jiwola to deliver a keynote address for this segment. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, our guest speaker and our special guest. Good afternoon, students, young girls, ladies, boys, and men, and soon to become men and women. It's good to be here again. It's good to see you guys again after a while. So let me use this opportunity to say, though we are in February, let me say Happy New Year. So, and also let me say Happy International Women and Girls Day for Science, right? So, it's a great privilege to be here with you guys. It is also good to see you scientists in the making to be here. So I'm particularly encouraged that we have quite a number of girls here, more than the boys. It is good, and I heard what the principal said, that you have more female in science now, enrollment in science than boys. It didn't used to be like that. At least when I was in secondary school, it wasn't like that. So it's really good to hear that now that the ladies and girls are showing a lot of interest in science. So my job here this morning is to encourage you a bit and also point your attention to the important task ahead of you. You know, so there's a time you are doing something. You don't even know the value of what you are doing, you're just doing it. So my job here today is to show you how important the job you are doing is, and to also show you why the job is now being committed to you. How our generation expects you to carry the torch, you know, and make a good account of yourself in science and help the next generation. So our world is where it is today. All the improvements, all the comfort, all the advancement that the human race has enjoyed so far had all come because of science. Science is when man woke up and found fire and said, you know what, we'll stop dying of cold. We'll start warming ourselves. So they learned fire, how to make fire from stone. They learned how to keep themselves warm. They now learned how to use fire creatively to get things done. That was science. So the days of the alchemist who took raw science and, you know, milk were mixing common materials, and they were discovering, they were experimenting. They were trying out crops. They are trying out to, how do we increase the yield of our crop? No, they were doing all these things. It was science. Science is curiosity. Science is discovery. So when science advanced to the point now that we are talking about AI, we are talking about neural link. Has anybody heard of neural link here? No, you haven't, I'll tell you. So some scientists are working on a device that they can connect to your brain, and your brain can control it. Let me give you what that means. It's like putting a SIM card in your brain so that you can connect. That means without you talking, our brain can connect. And you say, well, that's destructive. But let me tell you the advantage of that. There are people who are blind, who couldn't see. Neural link will help them to see. There are people who have accidents, who couldn't move their limbs. With neural link, they might be able to move their limb and live a purposeful life. The reason why all that is happening is because some people decided not to settle for what was common. they decided to explore and say, can we do more? So in let me use a Yoruba word. A scientist says sometimes it seems like an aṣejù. You know what aṣejù is? Overdo, someone that is overdoing. So that's what science is. Never satisfied with now. Never satisfied with the status quo. And because you are scientists and you have been called to this you must never be satisfied with what is known. You must never be satisfied with the status quo. You must always try to, it can be better. We can do more. You know, the people doing neural link, people doing AI, doing all these things. They could have sat down and enjoy our GSM, enjoy our satellite. After all, we now can travel to space. We can fly in aeroplanes. But there are people saying, no, we got to do more. We can't stop here. We can't stop here. There are people working on something called the Hyperloop. Have you heard of the Hyperloop before? I bet no. They are trying to shorten the distance of travel. For example, maybe a journey from here to Abuja to like 30 minutes. Some people believe that it's possible. And they are working on the Hyperloop. Hyperloop is what they want to do. So they want to do it in levitated magnets. You know what that means? They want to levitate. Levitate. How do you have to levitate? They want to suspend, like a bus, suspend it in a magnetic field that is devoid of air, devoid of friction. It's in a tube. So when you get into it, you just speed up and you're at your destination. They are working on it. We wonder, why do we need that? We already have bullet trains. Do railway that can do maybe Lagos to Abuja in like 2 hours. Why do they want to shorten it? Why are they doing this? Scientists never settle for less. They are never satisfied with the status quo. So you shouldn't be too. In your own world, you know, be curious. In your own life, say, I'm not settling for less. I am going to research more. I am going to be better at it. So before I end, I'm going to say, so why is it important that we encourage girls and women in science? I will tell you. The reason is that women, girls are nurturer. They nurture, they grow. Men are more adventurous. They might get distracted. But women are not nurturer. Whatever you give women, they grow it. So the future of science, the future of the next generation depend on women getting into science. We need you to, train the next generation. We need you to run with the torch that is given to you. And we need you to hand it over to the next generation. So that is the call that we have for you. So don't take the assignment lightly. Say, I'm a scientist. I'm going to, so let me gather my thoughts together. I'm a scientist. And I'm going to excel at it. Because of my world and the next generation. All right, before I go, I live with the story of a woman called Count Ada. If you check it, she's probably the first woman in computer science. She gathered with a group of her friends together. They developed the first working computer. You can check her out later. Count Ada Lovelace. So there are scientists like that have gone back. There are so many of them. There are so many of them that you can take as role model, that you can see what they have done for their world. You can use them to encourage yourself. That if they can do it, then I can do it. If they can excel at it, then I can excel at it. So with these few words of mine, I hope I've been able to encourage you to see the importance of science and to see the importance why girls and women should embrace and excel at it. I hope to see you at the top. I hope to read about you, that you are excelling in science, that you are getting scholarship to Harvard, you are getting scholarship to Cambridge, to all these beautiful schools, MIT, OAU, UI, all these schools, and you are doing wonderfully well when next we meet. So thank you for listening to me, and I wish you all the best.
Wow. You tell us your name and the 2 things you learned from that wonderful presentation.
My name is Eze Emmanuel from Adebusuyi Senior High School. And what I observed from what he said is that you should never be discouraged and you should always strive for more. Do not be satisfied with what you have for now. Learn to advance things in the future. Thank you.
Wonderful. Please can we give you a round of applause? Please come around. Thank you.
My name is Geology, and I'm from Adebusuyi Senior Secondary School. I gained a lot. Firstly, it said that science are not satisfied, they are curious. They don't want to just leverage themselves on the spot they have. They want to go further. And I also learned that women are kind of the future generations of scientists. Thank you.
Wonderful. Please, can we give her a round of applause? Thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome.